Hello everybody, my name is Watadi, and today we are going to be telling you about our final project for computer programming class. Now to preface, a lot of messaging softwares offer users the ability to export their chat history as text files. For this project, we have elected to use Line and Discord as our samples, as they are some of the most commonly used by Thai University students for work-related purposes. We won't be getting into how to export these chat logs in this video, but if you are curious, you can either ask us or just look it up online. Our program uses Python to parse through these exported text logs and return basic visual and numeric data from the chat log. Things like commonly used words, a graph of when members are in the chat are most active, and how many messages were sent by each user in the chat, etc. With that said, let's get into the actual code and how it works. Our program is made up of three major components, those being number 1, a parsing function that reads the chat log. Number 2, analysis functions that compute the statistics. And finally, number 3, data visualization functions. So first, of course, let's go through how the parsing function works. Our function for parsing these files is called read_chatlog, and it accepts one argument, that being the file name. This tells the function, of course, what text file is supposed to be reading through. The function then breaks down the file into lines and stores each line within a list. Before we are able to do anything with our new list of lines though, we must first determine what software the text file was exported from, as different messaging softwares will have very different ways of formatting their exported chat logs, and so each one must be handled in their own specific way. Thankfully, in the case of Line and Discord, both softwares have very clear indicators at the very beginning of their files for which software they belong to, with Line stating boldly "line" in square brackets right at the beginning, while Discord opens with a line filled entirely with equal signs. Once the source of the text file has been identified, each line of the text is then broken down into date, time, user, and of course the actual message, all of which are then stored inside of a list, which is then stored inside of another list. We also have a small function which converts the time from AM/PM to a 24-hour clock for consistency's sake. The main parsing function then returns a 2D list, as mentioned previously, to be used in our message data analysis functions, which Monai will now be explaining.
This part of the program will be about the analysis of messages. What this part does is essentially divide it into three sub-functions. The first function is to analyze the message's frequency. This program displays the unique words of each user and also the top 5 most common words used in a chat. As you can see from the program, this program output the user, Alice here, the total words, unique words, and the top 5 most common words. How this program function can essentially be divided into 5 simple steps. The first one being input, which is iterated through a given data of list. Then the user text, which is constructing a dictionary of usernames and all the messages sent by that user. And the second step is essentially just checking if the list given is empty or not. As for the third step is normalizing all of the words into lowercase, removing the punctuations and replacing it all with space bars, and splitting into words. Then the fourth step, the most important one, is to use the counter function from the collection library to count the frequency of each words. Then the fifth step is just to simply report out the word frequency of each user. The next program is to analyze the messages by user. This program is used to count how many messages a user makes. This program is very simple to make. It just gets input users as a list to store every username, then again uses the counter function from the collections library to count the number of messages And then the third step is simply to sort from the higher to lower number of messages. Then the last function is the average message length. This function calculates the average length of each user messages in terms of characters. How this function works is very simple. First, it creates a dictionary to store the total characters using the len function. And the second function is to simply find the average. And then the data is sorted in descending order and then outputted.
Hello, my name is Yukondesh, and this part of the code is going to be the data visualization. It works by utilizing third-party libraries, including Pandas for manipulating data, and Seaborn library to visualize data from Pandas. This is our plot statistics functions, which inputs the parameter as data from our previous processing functions. Here are some functions such as PLT, which sets the styles and preference for our visualization should look. And this is the entire function. Let me show you how our entire project works by using a chat with my friend as an example. As you can see in the terminal here are some outputs of the analyze message functions. And here is the Seaborn line graph of messages frequency in 24 hours. Here's a bar chart showing the most common words in the chat. And here's the proportion of each user's messages compared using pie chart. Thank you very much for tuning in our project.